Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Tanner's Favorite Things. Today we have a box to unopen, so let's get right into it. So for those of you who may have said, gee whiz, for all those fancy microphones and instruments, you sure do have an underpowered preamp. I guess the point could be made. This is in address to that. So my current preamp, or audio interface, if you will, is a Focusrite Clarett 18i20. Which is a pretty awesome unit, I have to say, but it's under 400 bucks typically. You can pick those up. It's a Gen 2, I should say, as well, so it's even a little bit older than the current Gen 4 ones. But this is something to enhance that already badass preamp. We have the Focusrite Clarett Octo Pre. So this is a new 8, for all intents and purposes, channel preamp that is very similar in every regard to the Clarett version, but the Clarett is one step higher in quality. It's more professional grade, and it's, you know, just a bit more honking of a unit. As far as size goes, it should be identical. But let's take a look inside this box. Looks like it is also taped. I'm gonna flip it over to do this. This is apparently a brand new unit or very unused. I think it was purchased last year with the intent of using it, but the owner didn't get around to it. But this packaging is kind of cool. Here's the back. This is obviously the front of it, so let's start there. We've got 2 inputs on front here, which are dual XLR 1/4 inch, and I believe these ones are balanced. We'll have to double check. These buttons are for our phantom power, 48 volt. Then we have our gain knobs here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And you have air that can be controlled for, I think, the first and second one individually, and then all of the other 6 are on one air channel. A MIDI, a lock. This is your level indicator with a monitor dial there with a dim, I think it's 10, minus 10 dBs, and a mute, which is obviously mute. 2 headphone inputs with their own volume dials and a power switch. So looking at my Clarett, it's very, very similar. So let's flip it over to the back. Here we have our AC only. This is for US setups right here. SPDIF in and out, those are RCA style inputs. It's another way to get more connections to this thing. MIDI out, MIDI in, optical out, optical in. I'm going to be utilizing these, which is how the ADAT functionality works to pair the 2 Focusrite units together. World clock, we're not going to worry about that right now, but then you have 1/4 inch inputs. Well, these are all monitors here, 1 and 2, and then these ones are line outputs. Then we have the remaining 6 channels here, the XLR/1/4 inch inputs. So these are mic/line inputs, and these ones are instrument or mic. All right, let's take a look. So we have the power cord, which is always nice. We have a USB cable. I'm pretty sure this unit advertised that it came with an optical cable, but just in case it didn't, I went ahead and bought one. So we have one of those guys that's going to connect the 2, but doesn't look like we have one in the box here. So that's something to note. Otherwise, the packaging is pretty minimal. Pretty sturdy. There it is. And we do have a set of feet in here as well, which I'm going to utilize because I'm going to stack these 2. I don't have a rack unit to properly space these, so I'm going to utilize these spacers, just little feet to put a little air in between the 2 of them. But this is what it looks like. And this is the back. Very sturdy, solid, kind of heavy unit, but not to the point where it's unwieldy. All right, let's go ahead and handle the next step dealing with the Clarett 18i20. All right, this is an angle you don't often see. This is the one spot in this room where I like having the desk, and sorry if this is going to be underwhelming as far as a desk reveal, but this is all that I've got so far. This has been my main recording setup for a while now. This is the Scarlett 18i20, also a Focusrite unit, and as you can see, it's very similar in layout. Let me get these off of here for now. And yeah, we've got the same 48 volt phantom power, channels 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, instrument air controls, our levels, monitors with air controls, headphones with air controls, and power button. So that's really a fine unit. And now, for the record, no one's ever said to me, oh, that's a really underpowered preamp you got there, you should upgrade. I was just using that to intro the video, but I do think that this is a very high quality unit, one that it gets very professional sounds. I can't say it any other way. It sounds excellent, and it sounds high quality, and it's consistent as all get out. And I'm hoping that the Claret Octo Plus, or Claret Octo Pre, I don't know how you say it, Claret Plus Octo Pre, I think is how it's said. I'm hoping that that elevates the game just a little bit. I don't know how much more quality you can get than this. This is me learning, so excited. The other option that I considered in this purchase was the Apollo 8 unit, which is a very popular unit, but I'll be honest, it's $2,000 plus on the used market. You don't see them come on the used market too often because they are so powerhouse, rock solid preamps. But this, well, not this one, but the Claret is approaching the quality of an Apollo unit, and I'm really interested to hear how it sounds with drums, bass, guitar, vocals, you name it. So the next step is to go ahead and stack them. I'm going to stack the Claret on top of the Scarlett 18i20 and connect them, and it's going to be a kind of an arduous process here. So before we do that, let's just get a quick sound sample of this preamp utilizing every single mic input with drums, bass, and guitar. All right, let's start with the back channels on the Focusrite. Right now, I have all 6 channels mapped to one of 6 mics around the kit. Well, one of 5 mics, actually. Channel 8 is reserved for the Roland keyboard unit, so that's just always hooked up to that, and it always sounds great. But we have channels 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7 around the kit. Channel 3 is our SEV kick, brand new microphone that I've been loving. That's on the kick, channel 3. Channel 4 is our snare, which is this AKG D5. I have SM57s on the tom and a PVM 328 on the big boy 18-inch tom. So I'm not going to play a ton here. We're not here to listen to the Scarlett, but I want to give you kind of a baseline. And if you listen with headphones, that's probably the best way, or a hi-fi stereo system. That's the best way to really discern the differences between these two preamps. Otherwise, if you're listening on your phone or the TV, you're probably not going to be able to hear any kind of difference. So just keep that in mind. But here we go. Drum set, mics 3 through 7. All right, so I also use the Focusrite Scarlett 18i20 as my primary guitar preamp as well, and I don't plug it right into the instrument supported preamp. I actually mic up a cabinet 100% of the time, and I'll say that for guitar. I actually do plug the bass directly into the preamp from time to time, but for the most part, I prefer miking a cabinet, and that's what we have for this guitar. What are we playing? I have an Ibanez S Classic 420 SC in black cherry, which is just a great bolt-on kind of PRS knockoff from Ibanez out of their Matsumoku plant, I believe. Maybe Fujigen, actually. I think it's Fujigen. But this is a great guitar, and I've been playing it quite a bit lately, just gravitate towards it. I'm plugging into the orange Rocker 30 watts of tube-driven power, which is being plugged into a cab, which you can't quite see. But I have an EVH 2x12 5150 cab with Celestion V30s. So pretty classic sound. And the microphone is a Sennheiser E906 dynamic microphone. It's the perfect microphone for this application paired with this preamp. It's always been great. So I'm, again, interested to hear what the Claret sounds like. But here we go, the guitar in clean. Let's hear it with some dirt. That's enough of that. Let's hear some bass. Okay, similarly to before, I have the bass mic'd up. We'll try the bass plugging directly into the Claret, but just know that it's a great sound, and if you want to try it, it's certainly worth doing. But for now, I'm going to mic this cabinet. I have an EV, an Electro Voice PL88 dynamic microphone right on the left speaker of this 2x12 Rivera low bottom cab, which is a powered bass cab, but I took the amp out of it and run it through my Gnome 200 watt solid state bass amp. So that's a whole hell of a lot to say, but let's just go ahead and hear this thing on track 1. Something like that. That's the bass on this PL88 microphone. This is my Fender USA Precision V bass. V because that's the Roman numeral for 5. It has 5 strings. So we don't need any new metal today. So let's go ahead and do what we came to do and swap these out, or kind of add the two together, because I'm going to use that optical cable to splice these together to utilize the Focusrite as an ADAT channel, or 8 ADAT channels. So here we go. Let's do it. All right, let's take a second to appreciate these two units. They're actually kind of colorway opposites in that the 18i20 has the full red body, and the Claret Octopre has the black body with the red face. So kind of dueling looks. That's cool. I like it. Didn't expect that. I kind of like the red case, but honestly, it looks better on the front. That's what you see the most. So good job, Focusrite. Good usage of your aluminum. Otherwise, we have pretty much the exact same height, exact same width, exact same dimensions overall, and a very similar style and look and feel. So I think this is going to work really well. Let's go ahead and get these wired up. All right, that was actually very surprisingly easy to do. The power cable is very easy to run. The next we have the optical cable, which is going to be the ADAT connection. And then we have just all of the standard, well, the monitors, as well as the USB, and all 6 of the back channels, all 2 of the front channels, and we should be good to go. Okay, overall that took less than 10 minutes, probably closer to 5 minutes when it's all said and done. All I had to do was pull this forward and swap all the plugs, and I haven't touched any of the dials. So that's my next thing to do, is I'm going to approximate these dials by where they were on the Scarlett unit, and all mic inputs remain the same. Otherwise, there's nothing that has changed other than the preamp that's capturing and processing the sound. So let's go ahead and match the dials, and I'll get back on the drum kit and play some guitar and bass as well, and hear what this thing sounds as compared to the Scarlett. The other thing I had to do was restart my session of Sony Acid. As you recall, I was just using this to record, so I had to restart my session of Sony Acid, and I'm gonna have to choose the tracks that I want associated with each existing track in the DAW. Right now they're patched to the Scarlett, and we want to go through the Octopre. Okay, so I went to Focusrite's website, as you can see here, and I registered the product, which was easy. You go to My Hardware, register a new product, punch in the serial number, and it gives you some documentation in a bunch of different languages, getting started, as well as the software to download, which I've done so here. So I'm just gonna open this software and install it, because it looks like we're going to need this software in order for this device to work, which is pretty standard for most hardware kits that utilize a computer. So this will go ahead and install, and we'll see how it comes out. I never registered this 18i20 unit with my account because my very first Focusrite product was this 2i2 3rd generation 2-input user interface, and it was a great preamp, really did a lot for what I needed, but when it came down to it, I just needed more inputs, and I currently need more inputs. So this says you will need to restart now, so I'll go ahead and restart later. Just want to close up some stuff, but let's go ahead and open up the software after a quick restart. So upon opening Acid here, we get our Focusrite control, which is a separate window, and we get a notification saying the Claret Plus 8 pre is recognized, so that's cool. And if you really want to map a bunch of stuff, you can do it here. Okay, so here's the file that I recorded previously. Let's go ahead and go to Options, Preferences, take a look at the audio device. Right now, it looks like we have Focusrite USB ASIO, which is probably the one that we're gonna need. This is the one that was the driver for the other preamp as well, but I don't see anything else, so I'm gonna use the Focusrite, apply, and we have the Focusrite Clarett Plus 8 pre-sample rate. So it looks like that's what it's recognizing as. So let me just clean up this one bit here and go to the end of this track. One thing I did notice is that all of our tracks are now mapped incorrectly. So we have 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. So I'm gonna go ahead and remap these real quick to the appropriate track where the microphone is plugged into. And then this is 1, this is 2, and this one is 2 as well. So those are correctly mapped on the bottom. But we now have all channels mapped to the correct microphones, and we should be able to get some sound. Let's go ahead and test that theory right now. If I arm the snare, testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, it looks like we have a waveform for me. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3, it looks like we have a waveform for me. Hooray, hooray, hooray. Wow, so that sounds pretty good just with that stupid little test. Let's go ahead and hear the full kit with the correct channels mapped and everything ready to go. All right, here's what she sounds like. So that's what the drums sound like. Let's hear a guitar. Alrighty, here we are in channel 2 on the Claret Plus 8 Pre. We're in exactly the same exact guitar, amp, microphone, everything. I did have to adjust the gain. It's about 30% more on the Claret Plus to get the same waveform reaction. So here's the clean. Let's kick on the Nauticlon, hear that dirty tone with the same exact setup. let's hear that bass. Okay, the gain is set right around 70% on the Claret Plus for the bass cabinet mic'd up, but it sounds like this. So, there you go. I'll play a little quick side-by-side of each so you can get kind of an idea of which sounds like what and make your decisions on which is the best preamp for you. I'll be honest, I was a little surprised that I needed a bit more gain on the dials with the Claret Plus 8 than the Focusrite 18920 Scarlett interface. So something to note, but not the end of the world. We have plenty of headroom, and I do think that the next step is to try vocals into this thing, which I'm not going to do in this video. I just wanted to unbox it, swap everything so that it's at least recognizing the new preamp in the DAW, which it does, and catch some sound samples, put them side by side. So hopefully that gives you a good idea of what this product is capable of. We'll have more down the line for sure. This is the first in a line of videos that I'm going to try to dedicate to preamps and recording microphones in a small space like this. So that's what we're looking at, and I'm really psyched to have this additional 8 channels in the mix. I'm also going to explore the ADAT functionality and get that 18i20 in the mix. Right now I don't have anything plugged into it, but I will, and we'll have overhead mics soon and additional guitar mics, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So let me know what you think. If you have any questions or comments, or if you think that this is a piece of garbage, let me know. Hopefully it does not elicit that response, but if you can like and subscribe, that always helps me with my YouTube metrics and to determine the direction of this channel moving forward. I want everybody to have a voice. So let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will hopefully see you on the next one.